Hello and welcome everyone to Her Money Club Stories. My name is Raechelle Minney and I'm the founder of Her Money Club. The intention for these beautiful discussions is to collect women's stories around money and specifically how they've overcome challenges related to money in life and the journey that unfolds. In Her Money Club, we talk a lot about aligning money strategy and life purpose to create a thriving life. And that is a process and a journey. So as we collect these pieces of that journey, we want to really just recognize the amazing women that have expanded us into more of what's possible, no matter where we are all at on that adventure. With that, today we have Boram Kim, and she is going to start with sharing her story with us. And to get to know you a little bit better, I would love for you to share even a more recent piece of your life experience in moving and just kind of what brought you to that journey.
First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Boram and I also go by Kate. I've been Kate for entire 20s and I decided I kind of want to go back to using my Korean name.
Nice.
So I'm originally from Seoul, Korea. I grew up in Seoul, it's just normal family, normal environment. I moved to the States 2013 and I've been here ever since. And the reason why I moved here was because I felt like the culture around respect of individuality, in terms of in Korea, for example, education, it's very, I don't know, you have to fit into this cookie cutter style, then you can be successful type of thing. And just that doesn't sit well with me. And when I just kind of moved here first, and I was like, this is where I belong. And I just okay, I'm gonna be here. I've been working for a lot of different corporate. I was fortunate enough to work for prestige companies like Grand Hyatt, Marriott, Procter and Gamble, and Samsung, and so on. And I've done a lot of different things. I kind of started doing consulting work for corporates to help with their events and culture programs and any other project-based work. And also I've started a business recently to support multi-passionate, multi-talented people like me to support them with their journey, how to navigate their passions and ideas, because people like me have so many ideas. We have unlimited inspirations every day. And I one point, I wish that there was some guideline or some example, lots of examples that I was able to see growing up. So I kind of was very inspired to start this. So yeah, I've published guided journal. That was my first activity that I've done with my business. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia, moved here a month ago, taking the opportunity to start a new life and new beginning with my fiance. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love it. So much good stuff to dive into. I would love to hear a little bit more about your journey because I've actually dealt with this too, like the consultant kind of world versus the coaching world versus running a business and just the different hats and roles that you play in all of those different environments.
Yeah.
Do you mind just sharing kind of a little bit of your experience, your journey, what you like, don't like?
As I was kind of mentioning before, Korea, I grew up thinking that I should be something. So I kind of followed and I was thriving. I was very, very lucky to attract very good job, high paying jobs from the very early on. And then I found myself changing jobs frequently because then now I know, now I kind of studied people's, personality and traits about this type of personality. So now I know, but back then I didn't know what is wrong with me. Why can't I choose one thing and just stick to it? So beginning when I was kind of lost and I was, young, I was fine with being employed at a company and just kind of learning about the company's structures and culture and work ethic and all that. And I've been working for very, very long time now, 15 years. But after I got into my 30s, I kind of kind of stopped caring about what other people think and start looking into what do I want. And also I moved from Korea and everything, so there was a lot of moving pieces. So I was basically just accepting anything that was coming in my way. So corporate, I still love it. It's easiest way to make money. I feel like there's if you run your business, you probably know there are a lot goes into it, that it's not easy. It's not easy as how other people make sound. But what is important realization that I had was that which hard work are you willing to choose? Is it in corporate? You still need to do hard work.
Yep.
But it's for somebody else, and then you're very limited in a way that you can make an impact or whatnot. In a personal, your own business, you have like so much opportunity and growth opportunity, expansion opportunity, all of that. So more freedom, but more responsibility. It's not like company's gonna shut down in the corporate, like I don't have to worry about that. It's not my problem, it's their problem. Whereas it's my business, it's like it's my problem. So yeah, there is definitely different points and different sides, and it really depends on the personality, also the stage of life that you are in. Before, in 20s, I probably wouldn't have even thought about opening or starting anything like my own. Like I was so comfortable being in a corporate and I was so happy. But now I don't know if I actually prefer to do consulting gig versus being employed like full time.
Same. I love the consulting aspect and journey, and my boyfriend does way more consulting than I do, but I love that it kind of detaches this level of responsibility to
Yeah,
explicit roles for each party. So the company is responsible for XYZ
yeah,
and like really the outcome. Consultant is essentially an advisor and maybe working on a
exactly.
project and has outcomes, but it's very clear. Whereas in employee land, it's like very, yeah, you have your job description, but then all these like extra things can be thrown on your plate, and it's like, what does
Yeah.
this have to do with like what I chose to
Yes.
sign up for, right? So there's a lot more minutia to kind of
Yeah.
digest with all of
Going
that.
to that point, it kind of worked for me in the beginning because I am that type of, I am very multi-passionate. I just
Yeah,
like, I volunteer to take on a new project, or any
yeah.
other teams. Like I kind of like nudge like, hey, can we work together? So I'm a
Hmm.
very like collaborator also.
Yeah,
So when I was with corporate, I was happy like that. Oh, I can just partner up with anyone in this
yeah.
company. There's nothing is good or bad. It's just really what is good for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. What do you want? And I love you
Yeah,
that you brought up the collaboration aspect.
yeah,
I just remember in my journey, like that was something that I enjoyed. I love collaborating. I loved building out projects with teams and like working with new people.
yeah,
And sometimes in employer environments, and depending on the social culture within that, sometimes department or even company as a whole, that can get some people a little riled up, because for me, I don't mind going and working with the CEO of this department and working with the director of this. Like,
yeah,
I don't care about hierarchy. And
right.
so that tended to ruffle some
I
feathers
totally get
along
you.
the journey.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, it doesn't really matter as long as the job's getting done and like the
yeah,
right people are in the right seats. And hierarchy, I think, is where I really got you know,
that's, yeah, the office
riled up.
politics. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And then it's kind of inevitable.
Well, to transition a little bit into kind of your money story, I'm curious to know about one big decision from your
Mhm.
past that you had to make related to money, and maybe how it even changed the trajectory of how you operated with money or how you think and feel about money.
I grew up in a very normal family. We weren't like rich, but we were comfortable until when I was in like late teen. My parents' business kind of had a hard time, rough time, and there was just really, they made a bad money decision. And there was a time that, in a school in Korea, there is like lunch service. They have like, they bring in buffet for you,
Mhm.
buffet service. And then you have to pay like, I don't know, back then it was probably like $30-$40 a month. It was really
Mhm.
not that much. But my parents always missed the payment.
Mm.
Like, and then at the end, when they missed the payment, and then at the end, like on the chalkboard or in the front, everyone's like, hey, this person forgot to pay, just
Mm.
let your parents know. So
Mhm.
their intention is not to shame you,
Right.
but when I see my name all the time there every month, I
Mhm.
feel ashamed.
Mhm.
And later on in my life, I didn't realize that how much that was affecting me, not only with money, but with every single decision that I had. So ultimately, what I felt from that experience, I feel like that was me feeling I'm not protected, I'm not supported, and I'm not in control of, because it wasn't my decision that I didn't want to pay or anything, right?
Right.
I'm not in control of my own. So like a lot
Mhm.
of those kind of limiting beliefs kind of built up. As soon as I graduated high school, I got into college and I scored top in my school. So I got scholarship all throughout. So I didn't have to pay a single dime.
Mhm.
And I got a really high paying, great job right out of college. And from then on, my life was very, very thriving in like career wise, money wise. And I didn't, and I don't know, some here and there, it just like, I feel like my money is like, I make good money and like save and then kind of dip. And then like, I can recover pretty quickly and then it dip, kind of like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So not until very recently, you know, my recent job at Samsung, I was making probably the most money that I've ever made before for, I don't know. So then I learned like, oh, okay, when they say it's the salary range or whatever, that is just what they think. You can change it. Like it's just
Yeah.
what people think that
Yeah.
you should be paid this much. When I left Samsung and I kind of like trying to find new thing, and I noticed this dip again, and then I was doing a lot of researching, and I know you and I are in the same group, and you know I love learning about personal development and all that. So,
Mhm.
and then I found this coach named Alyssa Novriga. I don't know if you are
Mm.
familiar. You
No.
should definitely check her out.
Yeah.
She teaches healing.
Mhm.
So she's the psychotherapist turned coach, and she loves doing her job, and she is so generous giving her, you know, knowledge. And
Mhm.
I learned this like healing kind of technique.
Yeah.
And and then I realized that, oh, back memory of my childhood, that
Mhm.
when I felt ashamed, when I felt not protected, when I felt unsupported, that was all kind of, it was affecting my
Mm.
love, it was affecting my career, it was affecting my financial situation. So yeah, everything was mindset. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of my money.
Wow.
Yeah, long story.
Wow, no, that's beautiful. And I think that it brings up a lot of interesting points. I'm just put the money lens on for a moment, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of pieces you could dive into with that and how that limiting belief affected all these
Mm-hmm.
areas of your life. Related to money, there's emotional attachment and meanings that we make of things. And so when we can tap into those emotional responses, which then dictate our strategy, which then dictates our habits and how our outcomes ultimately show up,
Yeah.
that's like super powerful to unravel and notice. And I think you said it like just not make it good or bad. It's just, okay, this is what's showing up and this is
Yeah.
the strategy that's happening. And how can I shift into a more resourceful way of operating that really serves my
Yeah.
best needs? And I'm not 5 years old anymore, so I don't have to
Yeah.
operate that way. And I can trust myself and trust those around me to support me. So I
Exactly.
love that. That's so beautiful.
I think the resourcefulness is very, very important. I think that played a big part in my life. When I got my first job, or in between, even in between, like I was so passionate about a lot of different things, interior design, and I was able to speak English and I did a lot of things. So I taught English on the side and make money on the side. And being resourceful, it's really serving you. And I feel like, you know, you can always find solution to anything, and somebody needs that solution. Like, and then nowadays even more, like this is like gig economy, they say, you know, I think it's a really amazing time for anyone to just kind of either teach their what they know already, offer their knowledge or their service to anyone. Like LinkedIn, for example, like, you know, you could find
Mhm.
all those companies, they're looking for a position, you can offer them similar service that you're providing, and maybe you could offer them as a, like, can I come in as a consultant to
Mhm.
your this problem. A
Yep.
lot of companies do not have a headcount, and they usually want to hire a contractor, and they don't care if you want to use your EIN number or your social security.
Mhm.
So really, like being creative and resourceful
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a very key to make more money.
Yeah, agreed 100%. I feel like you and I probably, unlike many of the women I speak to, we tend to have that resourceful lens of all the different ways it could look.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, 'cause the community here is a lot for me, but I'm curious to know your
Hmm.
perspective on maybe all, and not all of them, but just a number of
Yeah.
different ways you've been able to be resourceful in allowing money in, what through different roles and like using the skills that you already know and trust that you have to
Yeah.
apply to different ways to make money.
Exactly. So I mentioned about the teaching English in
Mhm.
Korea, and I love throwing events like just for my personal friends and all that. But I realized that I could just do that for other people too, and then make money. So, like something that I found very interesting is that, oh, like I really enjoy doing. I would do it for free, but someone
Mhm.
is willing to pay for it. So once I kind of found that, it was like I'm always being creative. Like I love creating design, graphic design too. So I run Etsy shop.
Mhm.
Like I'm like all over the place. And then I
Mhm.
kind of like I've decided recently I'm gonna own that. I'm gonna proudly say that I'm multi-passionate. I'm gonna say I'm multi-talented because I am. So teaching English and helping it, planning events, and just pick up any projects
Mhm.
that I could find, and through network too. Over the years that been in corporate and different companies, and friends, like I've made a lot of friendship and relationship with other people. So oftentimes they know me, and they kind of approach to me and offer me a job, like, hey, we need
Mhm.
this. And as we were talking, like, hey, maybe you could hire me for that. Like I can totally help you deeper.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love it. Because for some people I talk to and even coach, it's this jump from like, I would do this for free to asking
Yeah.
or requesting money for something. Was that ever an issue for you, or how
Oh
have you
yeah.
made it like easy for you to like get to this place now? And maybe it wasn't easy in the beginning, right? Or the transition, but do
Oh
you have a
yeah.
sense of like how you
Hmm.
transition?
So in the beginning, so I think I charge $300 for like 3 hours kind of daily hangout and casual conversation with this person for English teaching. So like this person wanted to just like I don't want to study a book. I just want to like speak, and I'll pay you for if you can spare time with me for 2 hours or 3 hours,
Mhm.
and tell me your fee, and I would love that. And I was like, I said it $300, like just I'm like lost my mind. Like, why did I even say that? He's gonna say no. And then
Mhm.
he's like, okay, no problem. And I was
Yeah.
like, boo, what? What just happened? And that I'm telling you, that was like, I don't even know, 10 plus years ago. So it was a lot of money. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just kind of like, it kind of like spelt out that way. But definitely, I remember feeling very uncomfortable that
Mhm.
like even like, oh, can I really like, should I change this? Like, should I like instantly regretting, like,
Yeah.
oh, like, do I deserve this?
Yeah.
Um, but later on, I also noticed that with the corporate getting a job only because if I like that, I have a lot of experience, they're not willing to pay me equivalent. They're only willing to pay me for what the job title is. So a
Mhm.
lot of times, because I am not like technical engineer, like I didn't like deep in like one subject matter expert type of thing. So
Mhm.
my expertise is more generalist. So
Mhm.
if you were to pay like event planner, for example, they don't have a lot of budget for that. They have a lot of budget for innovation director or whatever, but they don't have a budget for me. So then I realized, oh, okay. So the price is really how you set it to be. So
Mhm.
I just kind of, boldly ask for more. And like I mentioned, Samsung, I feel like I did it pretty well where how I showcase my work and then ask for a raise and got a pretty good raise for like a couple times.
Mhm.
And it didn't feel like, oh, this is like space is like turning or anything. It was just same feeling. I also felt like, do I deserve this? Like all
Yeah.
that. But I was like intentionally like, yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. How many years did I work?
I love that. so imperative to understand of like the self-talk in our minds and
Yeah.
what's coming up to diminish our worth, or something in us is telling us we're not worthy of that amount.
Yeah.
And also, this on like a deeper level, there's a difference in our own intrinsic value versus extrinsic value. And
Yeah.
yes, the world has put a number on our extrinsic value, but the more we can actually work and build our intrinsic value within our own being and like ways of self-talk and self-love,
Yeah.
that builds this kind of what I like to call a barrier around like whatever the extrinsic value is that someone's going to name or choose to put on us doesn't detract from my intrinsic value that I've decided I am worth or valued and
Yeah.
worthy of. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
feel like it's really all in mindset. So money is a mindset, health is mindset, love is mindset, career is mindset, all the thing is mindset. I realized that from my traumatic experience with my childhood, my parents are not paying my lunch, whatever. Yeah, I think it just kind of plays out. So I feel like that self-healing and, self-love can be really difficult for people. Like it's really hard to get there. But I think first step I I realized is that for me it was a self-acceptance. Yes, let's see where that's speaking. Let's speak from that angle where I was feeling hurt because my name was on the board, when I was feeling unsafe because I was wondering if I'm going to get lunch anymore. I think it's just really accepting where we are and then speaking from it, and just because whatever we have wounds in our heart, that just needs to be loved, and that just needs to say something, and it's like kind of guiding us in a way that is, it's inefficient, but it has a purpose, I believe. So then that belief system and that, oh, am I not be protected, I'm on my own, made me to be really independent. Made me to be really self-resourceful. I feel like I'm kind of like proud of myself that I never asked for money. And then even growing up, regardless my parents' business has been failing or whatever, whenever they give me like money to spend, I like would just save it without any like intention, but save. I became like, I so much cash, and my mom would be going through a hard time and I would just like give it to her, and she'd be like surprised, like, how did you even save this much money from like only like $2 we give you? So yeah, everything
awesome.
Mindset and acceptance.
Yeah, I love the acceptance piece. I think that is definitely a crucial mindset piece that helps all of us really just be in tune with the pieces of us that we are naming as not a part of us or not whole. Like we're already whole, but are we choosing to accept that we are already whole and not trying to diminish that?
Yeah, so good.
One question that I would love your thoughts on is, if you had just one thing to share with every woman in the world on something you figured out with the game of money, what would it be?
Oh, definitely being resourceful. There's always a way to make money, either through stock, if you're like that kind of, you have a genius stone in that, or just do little like geek like me, like, maybe create a website for somebody because maybe you're really good at design point of view, maybe you're good at technical, you can figure something out, because nowadays you don't need coding for building website. So just like being resourceful and because you do have everything that you need. Let's say you just need to figure out what is that you enjoy doing, and then how can we develop that better, and so that when you're working you're more enjoy, instead of like, for me, like I do love, I do know how to do Excel, I just don't love Excel. So like imagine if I'm going to be like accountant, it's not going to be good. So yeah, just being resourceful, listen to yourself, your body, what is the, I don't know, long time subconscious mind story that you're carrying on, maybe heal that, and yeah, just embrace who you are.
Yeah, embrace who you are. Yes, that's the ticket. And to share with the audience, what projects are you working on right now that you want others to know about, or things that you want to support others in?
Yes. So I briefly mentioned, but I published a guided journal. It's called Multi-Passionate Genius Playbook. So I guide you through, how to find all the passions of how can we, where you are going to stick to it, because you do want to stick to it, and you can work on it everything, but you can work on it one thing at a time or several things at a time, whatever works. But I kind of guide you through how you can do that and make it stick and make it actually happen, whatever the project that you're working on. So that's I'm excited for. And then more and more, I just literally just started. So I'm sure I'll be doing more stuff. I would love to teach, like I would love to create a course to going in depth with, people. So yeah, just follow me on Instagram, Multi-Passionate Genius. And on Amazon, the playbook is available on as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and if you send me the link, I can post it
Yes,
along
that'll
with the
be
video and everything. So
awesome.
excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time today and for sharing your story and just being so genuine in all of the self-love and acceptance journey.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.